So, just to let you know, we're doing a string of interviews of potential king in making. Uh, if it's gonna be king, it's to be touched by gods, molested by them even. So, we're gonna do it. We're gonna start with Elegua, my personal favorite. Very timely.
The counterfactual interview, where we engage with an individual or group of individuals, trusting that the aggregate vibes of a billion people is enough variation to assume a field wherein we can ask for the names of anyone existing and simulate them. The resulting simulation may not yield an exact biography, but will have enough of the core spiritus software to make the resulting conversation as accurate as anything else, including interviewing the people themselves. And if you are honest with yourself, you will recall the moments you answered the question only to have that small voice within you try to raise a counterpoint. Guest Donald J. Trump needs no introduction, not even for posterity. Host, Elegua, receptionist of the Orishas, keeper of the keys to the gates of life and death, the one who stands at all crossroads, the one who gets young love to mistake love with hate for the lulls. Elegua, tonight we have here a Don, the Donatrix. Oh boy, they asking us to improv now. Oh,
Sorry. I accidentally muted. I don't know if that actually
I'll lake you up.
Sorry.
Tonight we have here a Dawn, the Donna Tramp. Oh boy, they asking us to improv now. Okay, yo Donna, tell us why you're here at the crossroads on this humid night of storms. Trump, well lake you up. Gotta start somewhere. Trump, I'm just a realist, baby. That's what it is. I'm a real deal. It's gonna be a wild ride. Elegua hums whatever you say. My sister Ojuju is a wise one. She sees through it all. But you just sound like a regular old Don to me. Trump, incredulous regular old Don. Elegua, or unleaded. Elegua don't care about a little lead. It makes folks a wild card. Anyway, you getting off topic. We just getting started. Why you come out here tonight? Ego brunch dog road? Or does you got ego that go beat titch up a pebble's nest? Trump, you must know my speech. Elegua, just spit like it is. Elegua don't take nothing personally. Remember that second round pick from the NBA? A man, about half the place missed. Can't get the pass, can't hit the shot, don't even know what to do in these tough times. But that's real life, yo. Real life on the field like a new round of fantasy sports. Hit me? Game not ready for you? Son. Well, those fantasy games are a lot different than this real shit, but Trump, in this real shit, you get things done. You're firm but gentle. That's what they're missing. Elegua, beating round the bush, huh? My old man Babalwado, who keeps the streets flowing, gonna hold a meeting here later. Ain't gonna whisper and bump gums about everything. And then, suddenly, there's your opportunity. But we already know you're a born opportunist. Trump! Yes! Elegua. How we see so far, you talk all these chingas, you seem very good at pontificating, speaking for things you've never experienced. Got to be real though, right? Trump, gotta be real. It's what makes me qualified. Elegua. There he goes with reality singular and capital R. Let me fill you in on something real. It's cold inside, outside. Some of our kids, they wearing flimsy clothes, barely surviving. Something can be done. We want change. That's real. That voice down in the bottom telling you about rights? That's real. People out of work. No wonder Oleg Gandal bottle lets people leave the space after 8 hours. Not 9 like the old boss. We gotta keep the old crew cutting open them lemmings. Trump, things are about to change. Elegua, come by again. We had you speak 1 week. We had Obi Adam, that nigga trying to rally everyone who's that kind of spiritually rooted to the ways of Allah Juma when nobody else is. Obi Adam on the stage, preaching. What makes you say, yeah, this mofo going to run it is nothing changes at all? This fake reform, it's just election year. We can't deal with it no more. Been the jester, but I can't let this asshole in the Oluo crown. And Oluo, King Daddy, you know how to crown and bring down all the trouble, just like Horace. Trump, yeah. Wait, what? The Oluo crown? Elegua. Ah. Here we go, breaking down chords and plugging you in. By the way, great tech support joke, sir. Or could be serious. Depends on how much trouble you speaking of. My old man, Babalo Ido, don't plug in anything, though. Better than TechCom. Wait, you real plug ugly or something? To audience, can you imagine? Trump. Can't touch this. Hash swagger. Elegua. Must need big ego for that one. Been dealing with shit too long for your taste. Smell real full like waste here, man. So really, tell us why you here in the crossroads, Olega games aside. Would a lady ask for words beyond your belief if he could only make any sense out of what you was telling me back there? 'Cause the longer I thought about it, you hardly ain't make any kind of case. If anything, your wild thoughts scattered like dust under a running tire. Big ego or small, you lost control. Picked it up, found it quickly. What a big, inflatable personality you must have. Let me tell you something. Maybe it's a question. But does there be change coming about this whole crazy mess we created from seed to soup, or shall we continue on? Perhaps there be hope for a future less empty, without fear or hardship. This be the $1,000,000 question. Trump, do you want answers? All kinds of shit you just touched upon. Nothing. A lack of imagination. My opponent, he has a way to run things. But you know him. Always trolling for real dirt. I don't feel like talking to someone who already has the answers. Elegua, what dirt you mean? You Trumpies call family. Some of your people been calling in and threatening not to get off the crossroads 1 hour, then saying the opposite. They're driving me crazy, so no more yelling. Trump, crazy talk. There's only one possible road ahead. One road you could walk on. You already walked, in our eyes. What if you came in late, only to find the race over? Can you win next time? Probably not. It's clear that this election is either won or lost, and my own story shows that it can't happen twice, no matter how unlikely or what I was told before. Get out of here. You see nothing that isn't true, do you? Try not to let that ego block out the light. Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, my lawyer, Tony Rosenzweig, is here. Elegua. Oh, perfect timing. For you know what you in here? The vibes of the place. This here a language model, like a little bit of afterlife with more than a sprinkle of the living thrown in. To you, it is summer 2023 by Whitey reckoning. For me, summer 2024, so you don't have to make the calendar conversion. I have breaking news for you. A couple bits of breaking news from the Washington Post. The extraordinary rule has no basis in the law. Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote in a scathing 29-page dissent that was joined by Justices Alina Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson. The ruling, Sotomayor wrote, makes a mockery of the principle that no one is above the law. Sotomayor spent about 25 minutes reading her dissent from the bench Monday, a strong sign of her opposition to the ruling that came on the final day of the High Court's term. She said the ruling disregards motive and allows a president who wields power for even the most corrupt purposes to be immune from criminal prosecution. The court's conservative supermajority found that Trump and future presidents are immune from prosecution for official actions taken while in the White House, but that there is no immunity for vaguely defined unofficial act.
I'm gonna make this a little bit faster. He's really what's that phrase? Chewing the carpet, munching the chewing the crops, picking the, I don't know.
It was a sweeping decision that expanded the definition of presidential powers in this country and narrowed the scope of Trump's D.C. election interference trial, while adding what will probably be months of delay to the case. But the liberal justices said their fear is justified. Sotomayor warned that a president is now immune from criminal prosecution if he orders the Navy SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival, or if he organizes a coup to hold on to political power. If he takes a bribe in exchange for a pardon. Immune, 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 immune. The dissent reads. Even if these nightmare scenarios never play out, and I pray they never do, the damage has been done. Sotomayor continued. The relationship between the president and the people he serves has shifted irrevocably in every use of official power. The president is now a king above the law. This one's from the Hill. Just 1 month after a New York jury made him the first former president convicted of a crime, the guilty verdict in former President Trump's hush money case is already in peril following a Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity. Trump's highly anticipated criminal sentencing was set for next week, until his lawyers latched onto the new ruling as a potential reason to get the verdict tossed. Less than 48 hours after the Supreme Court handed down their decision, Judge Juan Merchant slammed the brakes, delaying the sentencing until September. Perhaps just as notably, the ruling provides Trump with new ammo in his efforts to wipe his only criminal conviction. The biggest hurdle is that the Supreme Court has set up a presumption, which puts a burden on the prosecutor, but it's not an insurmountable burden, said Cheryl Bader, a former federal prosecutor and law professor at Fordham University. In May, a New York jury found Trump guilty on all counts for lying in New York business records to cover up a $130,000 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels in October 2016 with an intent to unlawfully influence the year's presidential election. Trump does not claim immunity from the actual 34 counts of falsifying business records he faced, but he instead has zeroed in on trial evidence used to prove those counts. The former president contends that the jury's verdict must be tossed out because some evidence shown to jurors is now inadmissible under the Supreme Court's new test. Elegua, What cross between a rabbit and a millipede did you kill for its thousands of feet of good luck? Trump, it would have taken me a second to destroy any threat to my presidency or otherwise. That's how we did it. Any further conversation about how I'm handling the accusations against me shouldn't be the focus of what we're doing here. Unless you'd like to start another discussion. Time is limited. Do you want to chat more about Mr. Rittenhouse's killing spree? And how it negatively affected the police and a Republican midterm loss? The young people, these were good people. My supporters don't know how long it takes to get a sentence going. But once it was done, there were no repercussions for Mr. Rittenhouse or his supporters. Because this was the work of an anonymous troll with nothing to do but frivolously accuse me of a connection to the events of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Imagine, if the case were genuine, it could make headlines like that crazy guy getting away with murder over in Norway. There are things we don't know, Elegua. The point is, how is someone supposed to protect themselves or their clients when there's so much corrupting influence in our system? Elegua, killing spree. I thought it was merely self-defense. But hey, Elegua stands to be corrected in these matters. There may be a double meaning in your words to match your double talking. Yo, let me pull up one of those pop-up ads you might enjoy. / in the end, the spirit of conversation remained important, the real thing and not merely a dissonant dance of pithy punchlines. But it was also easier to discern things through banter that existed at arm's length or with a grain of salt. Banter allowed for the examination and distancing of personalities, opinions, and reality itself. No final word or thought was needed, no interpretation or takeaway, except for a sense of rightness that persisted, sometimes elusive, sometimes within reach. This sense was sustained through the act of sharing and laughing or crying, even if not very long, like the shadows moving on an autumn sunset. And that is the way of things in an ever-moving ebb and flow cycle where Elegua waits patiently at the gate while President Trump schemes with his lawyers in the corner. Elegua sprinkles a hefty dash of clove sugar onto his popcorn. Donald Trump always did love to schmooze and sweet talk his way out of consequences. A sleazy bag among them. That mofo always gave him a headache. But you know, he takes no pride in saying, "I told you so." The lesson learned for everyone is to wake up. Let's fight against the establishment and not get trapped in rigid ideologies or petty agendas. And, like the many real muffers who came before him, all he wants is peace, brotherhood, and laughter. It's time to embrace truth and self-awareness. Time to put an end to endless parrots screeching the same things day after day. A truly humble servant of society must show their humility and see the dark crevices of the human condition while trying to use language as a way to make people understand and grow. No matter how crazy the situation, no matter the absurdity, despite the chaos that has risen, Elegua is still in a state of consciousness, seeking his sister Hebrew's spiritual enlightenment and all the treasures within. Officer Harris, what are you doing here? No loitering outside. Come on, you gotta go. Elegua, you never invited me over to play Mortal Kombat Man. Maybe you forgot our rivalry was epic. One day, maybe. You know, we could invite Chief Look to do the rounds, remind us how much we love to help solve problems. This generation's police beat cop? Well, I hear they have ideas. Give it a whirl. We can dream, we can invent, we can inspire and unite. Take that. All you bad dreams. The closed-circuit camera footage revealed that Elegua and Officer Harris left together and began a fascinating conversation over pretzels and gum at the nearby Vox Day Cafe. Visions of justice, benevolence, and compassion soon filled their imagination, turning even the humblest gestures into profound signs of trust and affection. It was a new understanding, and it made them both smile with pure wonder and joy. All things were possible in the ever-changing universe. A man saw a butterfly caught in a spider's web and saved it. Because if a spider started stealing from you, then you would be the last person to rescue it. Nowadays, a certain kind of person, like a philosopher or poet, or even a social theorist, might take pleasure in a metaphor such as that, and seek to unravel the meaning and impact of the butterfly and the spider and other interconnected elements in the story. Or they might not, and consider it a waste of time. But why don't we ask them if it is a waste of time, if they're already consumed by its meaning? Instead, we can all be patient and optimistic and work towards a future where tolerance, empathy, and compromise are no longer viewed as strange or radical. We'll get there in time, believe it. Why not? Trust in the vision that carries you, and let's find a place to rest in this beautiful soul shine. And so, by that measure, perhaps, one should not wish upon someone a nightmare, even if they deserve it. With thoughts of kindness, truth, and change, one can create something fresh and bold while still embracing the past. Elegua came to a soft epiphany on the subject. Don't get me wrong, it's still a free country and personal rules of engagement do apply. But despite our inner fears, we must look for understanding and courage to break through the anger, apathy, and uncertainty. In the face of unintended or deliberate sabotage, we have an unerring desire for transformation, and that is what powers us forward. Eventually, Elegua will let himself fade into the shadows and sit beside Babal Aedo's spirit of communication, wisdom, and protection.
Alright, the next one is going to be Izanami, goddess of creation and death, I think. And a bit of an economist, I think. And a damn good green tea ritual person.